Well, hi everybody. Hope you're having a great week. Hey, do you have any habits you'd like to break? Do others you know, even work with, supervise, or even live in your home, have habits that aren't terribly helpful and may even be hindering productivity, attitudes, or just other good outcomes you're wishing for? Now, of course, some habits are positive. They're generally helpful and they contribute to meeting an important goal or growing character or helping someone or the group they're in thrive. For example, maybe it's at work. It certainly helps when people are in the habit of being on time, coming prepared for meetings, communicating well with each other, and bringing new ideas that will benefit everyone. At home, we usually value habits of getting up on time and cleaning up, helping out with everyday chores, practicing a new instrument or sport, eating healthier foods, and just sharing with each other. But these aren't the habits that typically cause big problems. You see, there are also what we commonly call bad habits because usually more destructive choices and tendencies arise that become obsessions, even addictions. And they can be far more difficult to lessen or much more difficult to stop. And typically most remedies will involve making a decision to quit, taking first steps, having an accountability partner to provide some check-ins, or setting up charts to measure success and just practicing new options. And while some of those strategies can provide success to a point, they often don't last. Why? Because you see, to really change a habit, particularly a powerful one, something else has to change. And that's not the habit, it's the habitat. See, habitat is the bigger picture. It's the surroundings, it's the atmosphere, the context of where a person or team lives, where they work, where they play, etc. Do the surroundings help or hinder the breaking of a habit, or do they instead just feed and entice a person or persons back to the bad habit? In the Old Testament of the Bible, God's people often turned to these other gods and then got totally messed up. But thankfully, there were some of the kings who would take over and they would commit to removing the temptations, stopping the false worship, and helping the people focus again on the true God. Unfortunately, while there was often great improvement, these kings, some of them, even the good ones like Solomon, didn't remove what were called the high places. These were some of the places that were good at times and reserved for worship of God. However, over time, many of them began to be used for idol worship. In fact, we probably would be shocked at how perverse and pervasive this worship became at times. One king who took on the challenge, who ironically began to reign at 8 years of age, get that, ordered all this junk culture to be removed. 2 Kings 23 says, Josiah brought all the priests from the towns of Judah and desecrated the high places. And then verse 14, it says, Josiah smashed the sacred stones and cut down these Asherah poles that were part of that. He realized that you're going to overcome the bad habits of the people and really change things. The habitat had to be cleaned up. So what might that look like for us today? Well, if we're going to break personal bad habits or organizational ones, we've got to have an examination of our habitat to find the triggers, the reminders, even the things that tend to pull us or those we work with back. Of course, it depends on whatever the bad habits are. However, let's say overeating is our personal struggle. Then we got to remove the high places of foods that tend to entice us or give us easy access to more. Or if it's overspending, our high places probably include a lot of easy home deliveries, credit cards right there in our wallets, ads and other calls to buy using our phones, in the mail. See, or our family, we may have to always have the latest and the newest, and we got to quit that. Or if the habits at work are causing dysfunction and poor results, what high places there might be removed? Well, you got to figure that out in your setting, but let's say it's people being late to meetings or not turning in important data or plans for the next 6 months. Well, what high places need to go? Maybe that people love to have this freedom to just come and go when they please, and they get a pass even though they're not on time. You see, we could also add some good high places to develop new habits, like modeling for our team or our family, offering some perks for doing things a better way, or challenging one another to see who can offer the best new ideas. You'll have to figure that out for your setting. But we can change some of our habits and those with whom we work or serve. But somewhere along the way, maybe we need a new program. Let's call it the Habitat for Our Sanity. Think about that one and try it. Talk to you next time.